The coroner and I stand here today and talk about a very tragic incident that we had last night where a 14-year-old lost his life. It's senseless. It doesn't make sense. We have a family that's grieving. We have a community that's grieving over a 14-year-old who was shot.
Sometimes we have to learn how to step back and step away and really process what it is that we feel so that we can respond in a healthier way. Because even though this right here, we gotta live with this, you know? This is not something that's gonna be taken lightly. I feel bad for both parties involved because like I said, I do have a relationship with the owner, but I'm also, feeling for my people, my black and brown people that are constantly going through these different types of situations. So, it's just heartbreaking for everybody around the board, and, I'm definitely praying for everybody.
Today, we will be in the city of Columbia, which is the capital city of South Carolina and is the second largest city in the state. As the state capital, Columbia is the site of the South Carolina State House, the center of government for the state of Columbia. It's home to the University of South Carolina as well, and the state's flagship public university is the largest in the state. The area has benefited from congressional support from Southern military installations. Columbia is the site of Fort Jackson, the largest United States Army installation for basic combat training. On Sunday, May 28th, a South Carolina convenience store owner, Rick Chow, age 58, would be at work when a 14-year-old, Cyrus Belton, would enter the store to make a purchase. After picking up 4 bottles of water, he decided he was not getting them and placed them back. As he tried to leave the store, the owner's son would accuse Cyrus of stealing water and would chase him down. What would happen next would send the city in rage. Cyrus Carmack Belton was a SIDI magnet student. He was intelligent, humorous, with quick wit, and well liked by his classmates. Teachers could always depend on Cyrus to ask questions beyond the scope of the topic, as he often would seek to understand rather than to accept and move on. He often had conversations with members of the faculty and staff about his dreams, goals, and aspirations. He dreamed of owning a tattoo shop one day and being famous. The staff at the school poured into him daily and were pleased to see the results of his hard work when he was promoted to high school. He will be remembered for his infectious smile and tenacity. Cyrus had gone into the store around 8 p.m. Sunday and was confronted by the owner, who accused him of shoplifting, according to the county sheriff's office. Sadly, the owner of the store would chase after him alongside his son off property and shoot Cyrus in the back for no reason at all. He did not shoplift anything, and there was no evidence that he stole anything whatsoever, the sheriff would say in a news conference on Monday, adding, even if he had, that is not something you would do by shooting anybody, much less a 14-year-old. Cyrus unfortunately did not survive his injuries to the back and was pronounced unalive that day.
His name is Cyrus Carmack Belton. His family's been notified. We just talked to the mom just a few minutes before we came in to hear. There's a lot of different narratives that's being circulated that is not true, but the facts are very disturbing as they are. This happened about 8 o'clock last night. A convenience store on Park Lane where the victim went in. The owners of the convenience store suspected him of shoplifting. He did not shoplift anything. We have no evidence that he stole anything whatsoever. There was a verbal confrontation inside the convenience store. The victim went outside. He took off running. The son of the owner of the convenience store gave chase. The father, who owns the convenience store, joined in the chase. He was armed with a pistol.
We begin tonight with the shooting death of 14-year-old Cyrus Carmack Belton. The teenager was shot and killed Sunday night after Richland County deputies say the owner of a convenience store thought he had stolen a bottle of water.
This case is about a 14-year-old boy who was shot and killed. It's also about the person that was arrested who's being held responsible for it and held accountable for it. That's what our job is.
Investigators are confident that this was done in a manner that will now classify as a homicide, and the shooting was not accidental by any means. The Richland County Coroner's Office said during the news conference this was a very intentional shooting, and unfortunately, Cyrus Carmack Belton lost his life. Firearms are currently the leading cause of death for children in the United States, surpassing car accidents as of 2020 and accounting for nearly 19% of children's deaths in 2021, according to the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention Wonders database. In no other comparable country are firearms within the top 4 causes of mortality among children, according to the analytical reports. Cyrus's unaliving spurred protests Monday as community members grieved and demanded justice outside the store. Following the peaceful protests, the convenience store was looted and vandalized, with the outside being spray painted and the windows shattered.
Along Park Lane Road, people gathered for a vigil this afternoon to talk about the little boy. I was there tonight as people gathered to pray for peace and ask for justice.
Stop for a moment of silence for this young brother's life.
On Monday, the community gathered to honor the life of 14-year-old Cyrus Belton and ask for justice in his death. Belton was killed Sunday night after being chased out of a gas station and gunned down. The owner of the store believed he had stolen water bottles. That store owner, named Rick Chow, turned himself in to the Richland County Sheriff's Department Monday afternoon. But people in the community say there's still justice to come.
And justice will be served, starting at the bond hearing tomorrow, where we request that his bond be denied.
What's the time?
Yes.
We got the time yet?
Candles, signs, and water bottles were placed in Belton's honor, all the way from the gas station to the place where he was killed. During a vigil, Belton's name and age were also spray painted on the store. Protests at the gas station lasted throughout the day, and we're told they will continue.
That king may not have mattered to them, but he damn sure mattered to us.
That's right.
Because that could have been your child.
Right.
Or your child.
That's right.
Or anybody's child.
Chow is expected to appear in court tomorrow for a first appearance at 2 o'clock. And earlier today, many community members were outside of that Shell gas station protesting over the death of the 14-year-old. Many wanted justice in the form of officials closing down the gas station for good. When asked what he thought if that gas station should shut down or not, Sheriff Leon Lott had this to say.
That's not something that we address on that. I mean, we're going to make the appropriate charge. He's charged with murder. And closing, that's not something that we would even look at doing, is closing it down.
Sheriff Leon Lott went on to say that there had been previous incidents at the same gas station over several years. We did ask for those incident reports, and the Sheriff's Department says they will be providing those in the next few days.
As you said, Sheriff Leon Lott addressed what has happened in a press conference, and he said that law enforcement will arrest anyone who was a part of the vandalism at the Shell station on Park Lane Road. Deputies say 15-year-old Cyrus Carmack Belton was chased out of the gas station before law enforcement says he was shot and killed by the owner. Rick Chow is charged with murder and appeared at a bond hearing in front of a magistrate judge at the Richland County Jail. Chow and his attorney had no comment. The victim's family was also there, but they did not give a statement either.
An incident report from the Sheriff's Department would say the store owner, Rick Chow, was arrested and charged Monday with Cyrus's unaliving. According to the Sheriff's Office, he was denied bond at a hearing Tuesday, and his first appearance is going to be set for June 23rd, the court records show. Also, the sheriff will state after Chow confronted Cyrus, the boy left the store and took off running and was chased by Chow, armed with a pistol, and Chow's son. Cyrus ran out of his shoes, even fell down, got back up, and continued to run, the incident report from the Sheriff's Department would state. At some point, the son said that Cyrus had a weapon, but it was never pulled on child or fired at all. However, at that point, the father allegedly shot the young man in the back, the sheriff stated. Child reportedly saw what looked to be a firearm, pulled out his Glock 30S, and fired one shot, according to the incident report. Deputies arrived to find Cyrus lying on his back with a bystander doing chest compressions to try to save his life. Cyrus sadly passed away from the single gunshot wound to his right lower back that seemed to be consistent with someone who was running away from an assailant, the coroner said during a news conference. The convenience store location has had a number of shoplifting incidents in the past, including confrontations involving the owner of the store, according to police reports. The family attorney, Todd Rutherford, said he was outraged by the shooting. What happened to Cyrus wasn't an accident, he said. It's something that the black community has experienced for generations, being racially profiled, then shot down in the street like a dog. Words can't describe the pain the family is feeling and knowing for the deceased. I'm asking that our community continues to wrap their arms around this family as they join the club that no black family wants to ever be a part of. The sheriff's office report said the shooting was not a biased motive incident. In light of vandalism and looting Monday night, Richland County deputies are now guarding the convenience store, according to what was stated in a news conference Tuesday. A group of people entered the store and took everything they could get their hands on, and the investigators are working to identify and arrest those who stole from the store. It was also said in the conference, what does stealing a case of beer have to do with a 14-year-old being shot and the person responsible being charged with unaliving? Someone explained. What does that have to do with stealing beer? But they said, go ahead, drink that beer and enjoy it right now because you're going to pay for it later. That completely makes sense because every time something happens, people begin looting and vandalizing things that have nothing to do with the situation. And it's so very sad, especially in the black community. Instead of standing up for what's right, people want to see what they can gain from a tragic situation. And it's not about what happened to this young boy. I'm so glad they are moving swiftly in this case, though. And that child is behind bars because what he did was inexcusable. And like authorities have said, even if he did take some bottles of water, it is not equivalent to someone taking somebody's life. And then he ran a nice little distance before he shot him. So he left his own store unattended to do something just completely outrageous. Last time I checked, if you're running away from a situation, you cannot possibly be a threat to that person because you're moving away from whatever the issue is at hand. So regardless, if Cyrus had a weapon as well, he was hit in the back. So there was no way that child could justify. And he wasn't even on his property at this point. So from this point forward, we'll have to see how the justice system plays out. And my deepest thoughts and prayers are with the family and those difficult, dark, hard times ahead. No child should have to worry about being shot down by gun violence. And it shouldn't be our children here in the United States' #1 cause of death. Sad, just very sad. So please just comment your thoughts and prayers as well for this family in their much difficult time. And remember to hit that like button and share to make your people aware. And as always, remember to stay woke. Things change quickly.